All right. Welcome back to the Roundtable Ravens podcast. This is episode number 36. Again, please, people, as I've been starting every single one of these podcasts, if you like what you hear, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. It really helps us out. Also, in the description of this video will be the official Roundtable Ravens site. You can create an account for free. All kinds of news analysis and everything will be there on the site, as well as this podcast. It's on YouTube, but it's also there as well. That being said, we have a lot to recap with the Ravens' second preseason game. But I want to start first with some big injury news instead of us jumping right into the game itself. Two really big injuries, or rather one potential big injury, is happening with the Ravens right now. The first being Danny Pinter. Center Danny Pinter is now out for the season. Unfortunately, he suffered what was a patella tendon tear. And initially, Ravens head coach Jesse Minter did not want to state fully that he was out. They said that he would be out for an extended period, but that they were going to do tests and determine what occurred. And obviously, he didn't want to give any kind of information that Danny Pinter was going to be out. Now, just yesterday before practice, or rather following practice, he confirmed that Pinter will now be out for the season. This obviously puts a really big damper on the center competition, as it was firmly between Danny Pinter and Jovan Gwynn. Not firmly, I mean, Ethan Pocic was there as well, but he was still kind of ramping up from his own injury. He suffered an Achilles tear in 2025, and he hadn't been given as many snaps as Pinter and Jovan Gwynn had through OTAs and minicamp and leading into training camp preseason. But yeah, it sucks. Danny Pinter seemed like he was working his way to potentially being a starter. He was right in the middle of the competition there, and was seemingly doing very well. But now he is out for the season. Really big blow, because especially if he had not won the center competition, he would have been a very, very big backup for the centers. Obviously, now there's Jovan Gwynn and Ethan Pocic and Corey Bullock, and we'll see how that shakes out. Interestingly enough, it still isn't settled, and there's still one more preseason game left to go. But I think that's kind of good too, because that's how good these guys have been battling it out with one another. So, I mean, you gotta hope that through that injury, there's still some quality starters and depth for the center competition there. Additionally, on the defensive side of things, the defensive line, Matabuke is potentially going to have to be added to the IR list to start the season. He is not fully back yet. He finally hit the sled, which is a good step in the right direction yesterday, but he has not returned to team drills. Obviously, we talked about this before. They don't want to rush Matabuke back from such an injury. It's a neck injury. You can't rush him back, but they are running out of time to add him to the IR, because Saturday is cut down day for all 32 teams. They need to figure out what they're going to do with him. Excuse me, Sunday. Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern is the cut down day from 53 or 90 to 53. And on that, they need to figure out what they're going to do with Matabuke, if he's going to remain on the 53-man roster, or he's going to be added to the IR list, which if he is added to the IR list, that would mean that he's going to miss the first 4 games of the regular season, which, if I'm being honest, is probably the smarter route, because he hasn't returned to team drills. He hasn't done any team drills his entire time he's been back. He was removed from the PUP list very early on, as we've talked about on this pod. It was really shocking, because he was removed before Teddy Buchanan, but like Jesse Minter had said, Buchanan appeared to be a little bit further along than Matabuke. He did hit the sled for the first time in all of training camp yesterday. Good news there. Maybe he can ramp up this week, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the direction they're going to want to take with him. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the center situation, that just seems to be an ongoing issue that I think they're going to have to keep dealing with throughout the entire season. Honestly, I think even when they set who they think it's going to be, that offensive line, just watching the game on Saturday, was it now? I think it was
Friday.
Friday?
I think it was Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, they played Saturday, my bad.
It was Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday
my day is
the day, our time.
my day is mixed up, but yeah.
Well, yeah, either way, like it's not like it's an issue, but it's not like as bad as it has been or as bad as like people speculated it would be, it seems to kind of still be a bit of like the offense didn't put on the same kind of show that they did the week before, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's obviously devastating, but the good thing is they have really addressed this position. It's something that they've brought loads and loads of people in, so they have that depth there. Whether it's as strong as it could be or as strong as they want it to be is the other thing. As for Madubuike, we've been saying it over and over again. To be honest, we didn't expect him to come back at all, maybe ever. So it's good news that he even will be available to go on to IR and then maybe kind of get to play later on in the season. I think we're all in agreement here that keeping him safe as long as possible is the best option. And seeing that defense on Saturday night, no need to rush him back. There's some really great people coming up behind him that I think, obviously can't fill his shoes because he is who he is, but will at least kind of hold it down until he's good and ready to go.
Yeah, I would say defense. We'll get into this, but defensive line, secondary. Oh, anyway,
Yeah, I
we'll
mean
get
that's just really unfortunate for Pinter. I mean, obviously, like you just mentioned, he was in the mix for the starting center spot. Looked pretty well, and just the injuries this year, just over. I mean, not even this year because the season hasn't even started, but just overall in the NFL, right? You hate to see people going on carts. You hate to see people out for the year already. When there's a little over 2 weeks left into the season, the injury bug is out in strong force, unfortunately, so far throughout training camp. Hopefully that begins to settle down. Just in general, just watching football, right, and being fans of football, you hate to see these type of stuff go down. But as for Gwynn and Postage, right, Minter said that Postage is going to get more reps with the first team this week. So we'll see how that goes. Like you said, James, they're just ramping him up from his Achilles injury. Hopefully, he's on time to be ready by the time the regular season rolls down. How that's going to shake up in terms of whether he starts or not, that's we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But he is the more experienced center. And I know initially when he was signed, we kind of thought that it was his position to. Not that like he was going to be given that position, right? But it was like, okay, well, he's going to come in and do his work, and then eventually he'll be the starter. I think, kind of looking back at it now, I think they took the right approach, right? Because he is coming off a serious injury, and you want to give the other guys, some sort of, I don't know, like fair shot at the center spot, which is what the Ravens have certainly given them. Now, in terms of Madubuike, I completely agree with you too as well, James. Like, take the 4 weeks, right? I mean, and also too, Billy, like you said, we didn't think he wasn't coming back at all. And if he was, what kind of player would he be, right? But now that he's off the pup list sooner than we all expected, that's good news. And if he needs those four games, so be it. Whether it'll be against the Colts, the Saints. I mean, you would love to have him against the Cowboys because the Cowboys have that high electric kind of offense, who many believe could be the best offense in the league. And then you have the Titans. So, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want him to miss games at all, but considering the fact, right, I mean, if he's going to come back by week 5, which they play the Falcons, I mean, that would be, that would be a huge win for the Ravens. Just him being active and in practice, that's already a huge win in itself.
Yeah. Again, don't rush him back. You don't need to. As Billy, you had said, there is some up and comers. I think the pass rush, I think the defensive line in general has played very, very well. Even these are backups too. These are guys that are, backups, third stringers, roster bubble guys, but they've been playing
Undrafted guys on
undrafted.
Saturday
Yeah,
night.
they've been playing like really, really good in preseason. And again, as we've said multiple times over, it is preseason, but that's the whole point. You want to see the back end of your roster. You want to see how healthy is your depth. You want to see who, and those camp battles. Obviously, the camp battles there are important. Two things that I do want to point out, other than the defense, is the pass blocking was really bad on Saturday. It was very, very bad. Like, normally Huntley has a little bit more time to kind of do some things, but he was under duress for most of his offensive series, which I thought was very weird. And so I wanted to do a little bit of digging and look. And so, okay, take this as you will. But Nick Dawkins played like 8 snaps and he had an 8.9 pass block grade on PFF. Interestingly enough, I thought one of the more interesting people that stayed out was Vega. Ioane stayed out a long time, which I thought was very concerning because that's a risk for injury. As we know, as Buddy you said, the injuries have been really rampant this preseason. But he also stayed out for quite a while, and 44.1 pass block grade. That's really not great. Jovan Gwynn, decent, 56.8 overall grade. Not the greatest, but a lot of the backup offensive linemen did not do a whole hell of a lot for the quarterback's sake in this game, and that's I think why a big reason why the offense couldn't get anything going. The run game was also not there. Obviously, Adam Randall is dealing with an injury, so he did not play. So they had oh my god, sorry, what's his name?
They had Tal Tolliver out.
There you go. They had Tal Tolliver out, and then what was the other guy? Jonathan Ward. They had Jonathan Ward out, but neither could really get anything going on the ground that good. And yeah, even like I said, the pass block, you just watch the offensive linemen just get kind of pushed around the entire time. And that's obviously not to say that the Vikings don't have a really strong defensive line. They do. So that's a credit to them. But you kind of saw a little bit of the holes there for the defensive side as well as the offensive side and those backups. And those are the things that you need to obviously pay attention to in the preseason action. Some top players for me, Josh Cuevas. I mean, dude, that guy was tearing it up. Like not only was he able to create separation, he was getting over the middle and just running his butt off. He looked a little slow in my opinion, but I mean, he had some really good catch and runs, and he had three receptions, 46 yards. He was leading the way. Devontae Walker had a couple good ones. Dayton Wade had a couple good ones. Sorry, I'm gonna rifle through a bunch of names just real quick. Keandre Jackson, dude, 8 total tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. That guy was playing his butt off. And oddly enough, I don't know why this happened, but I tweeted about LeJontay Wester, and that tweet went viral, if you will. But it had like a crazy amount of likes and shares, and his aunt reshared it, which I thought was really cool. But he was playing his butt off as well. Like he in my opinion, put himself in a much better position on the roster. He had 2 punt returns for 31 yards. He had 1 kickoff return for 29 yards, 24 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, the kid was playing pretty damn good. Those are a few of my guys. I don't know who you guys have, but overall for me, it was not a great look in terms of like the finer details of the offensive line as well as the secondary. I felt like the secondary were getting really cut up by JJ McCarthy in the beginning. They tightened things down, but I think the pass rush obviously was a major factor later on and why they were able to stop, especially those goal line stops in the beginning, the first series with McCarthy out there. But McCarthy being who McCarthy is, he threw the ball over people's heads, and those could have been easy touchdowns. So yeah, like the secondary did not play well.
Yeah. And I agree with you. The offensive line just continues to be a big glaring sign, and it's something I'm deeply concerned about just because we've been saying it about Lamar. Like, Lamar's in a contract or coming up on like a whole contract negotiation situation. If you can't take care of him, of course he loves the city, he wants to be there, but you know, he doesn't want to cut his career short by being knocked down. It impacted him massively last year. It can't be an ongoing issue. So that is something that really drew my eye. And, you know, they just didn't seem to get as much done this week as they did last week on offense. We've got a lot of the same guys. I mean, I've been a LeJontay Wester believer since last preseason. I think he has so much talent that just hasn't been utilized yet. And we definitely saw it on Saturday night. Like, he just had a great game, you know, got the only touchdown of the night. Like, was just having a good time, you know, both and, you know, on the return. So he's a really great weapon to have just on both sides, special teams and offense. But my standout guy is Ethan Burke. You didn't mention him. Mr. Undrafted.
Yeah.
3 tackles, sack, 2 additional quarterback hits, 2 pass break. Like he was great. And he was talking about, the veterans in the team, like Mike Green and what can we call Mike Green a veteran? He's been around a couple of years. He's not a dinosaur yet. He's not a dinosaur like Trey Hendrickson, who has also been helping him, and Tavius Robinson. He was saying those guys are really helping him out. And I think, that speaks to him as a player, coming in, and he just seems like a really great guy with like a sponge mindset, taking advantage of the opportunity he's been given as an undrafted guy, and what a performance he put on Saturday night. I'd like to see more of him. When are they playing this week? Saturday again? Friday?
I believe it's Saturday again. Let me check that real quick. My days are all crazy.
I know it's one of those weeks.
Friday, actually, they're playing Friday.
Friday. Well, I want to see more of him on Friday. I thought, I'd really like to see them get more into that. It's the whole thing is the defense has switched. It's now the secondary that's more of an issue than the pass rush, and so that was concerning to see a little bit. But also, have the Ravens got the best quarterback room across the league? Joe Fagnano was great again.
He was. He was.
He's showing that the room is stacked, really great, consistent thrower. Who else have I got? Keandre Jackson, exactly what you said. And obviously Silas Waters had the interception on defense too. And then I think both of those tight ends, if Ravens fans are feeling a little bit sad to see
Is it likely?
I've already forgotten their names. I say Kolar and Likely.
Likely and Kolar.
They're gone. Okay, they don't
Billy,
matter anymore.
good.
They don't matter.
so
They're
good,
in
Billy.
New York. They're over in New York beating the Dolphins' butts. We'll
They
get to
are
that in a
dead.
couple
They
of
are
days.
dead to Ravens fans everywhere.
good.
Yeah. So,
But right, Cuevas and Hibner kind of come
Yeah.
in, and
it was the
made
Hibner
us-
show last week, and it was the Cuevas show this week. So, I mean,
Right?
that's really good news for the tight end room in general. But just to kind of like piggyback on what you said as well. So, you had Ethan Burke, you had Keandre Jackson, Chandler Rivers had half a sack, Mike Green had a sack, and then Rashod Bateman had a sack. So, I feel like all of like I said, the defensive line and the pass rush was.
Right?
Yeah. Ethan Burke is a guy that I looked at. I watched the game, and then I watched him on film, and I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's disruptive. He's everywhere. He went undrafted this year out of Texas, and his chances of making the team are a bit slim, just because that outside linebackers room is just crowded.
He's
but
making a
there's
case for it, though.
Yeah, he is. He's making a case for it. I think right now, like worst case scenario for him would be going on the practice squad, but who knows what could happen now between now August 25th and August 30th, which is on Sunday, which is when they make the initial 53 man roster. So yeah, he's certainly making a case for it. Keandre Jackson as well. I kid you not, I was watching film on him, and if you were to just have him in a blank Ravens jersey, that's what I see Kyle Hamilton doing on Sundays for Jesse Minter and Anthony Weaver's defense, just flying around, being disruptive. He got a sack on Saturday, and he really didn't let any receiver breathe around him. As soon as as soon as the Vikings receiver pass catcher caught the ball, he was there. Boom, laid him out. So that's why I saw him. I was like, yeah, this is what like Kyle Hamilton's gonna do, just like at a more like just with obviously more experience, more explosiveness, just everything really. So I really loved what Jackson did. Again, I think they would need to make some room for him if they really liked him. A guy maybe like Kevon Walker would maybe be the odd man out. Wallace. Kayvon Wallace. I know Wallace is a cornerback and Jackson's a safety, but just depending, obviously, there's a lot of decisions that need to be made in terms of the 53-man roster, what guys they want to keep, what positions they want to have more, right? So there's a lot of things that need to go on there. Totally agree with you guys in terms of the tight ends. Like, I mean, you have Hibner and you have Cuevas. I mean, if those two guys could blossom, I know they're rookies, but if those two guys could quickly make a name for themselves, the Ravens would be in a really, really great spot. You guys already brought up Joe. He did well. I know, I've seen a lot of people kind of be not really upset, but kind of discouraged on the way Kobe Lane and Elijah Sarah kind of performed on Saturday. Lane only played 17, 18, 19 offensive snaps, and he was out by the second quarter or so. Elijah Surratt didn't really perform the way you kind of hoped he would. But me personally, I'm not really like worried about that wide receiver room. I think those short days were kind of designed. Well, not the short days, the short game time in terms of the duration of they're going to play. I think that was already planned. So I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, I think overall just the defense shined in terms of what we brought up, and then in the offense, yeah, it was the quarterback and tight ends who did it really well.
Forgot to shout out one more person, Mr. Tyler Loop, 2 for 2, one from 49.
I was gonna say course
That's
correction
right.
for Tyler Loop. He was like, "I hear you."
I mean, and
Loop.
it's weird because during practice as well, he's been hitting some pretty long field goals. I think he missed one yesterday from like 54, but he got another one from 54.
it's the over 50s.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
I
one.
mean, but that's the thing is you got to hit those. You will
Yeah.
before you hit those, you got to hit the under 50s because he struggled with the 44 yarder.
44, yeah.
And then 49, he missed, I think, in the first preseason game. So you got to hit those. But, redemption, it doesn't matter really in practice. Obviously, it matters in real game action. Like, can you buckle down and make kicks? He made those kicks. So you got to shout him out. He's kicking and making it when it matters the most. And obviously, because of how underwhelming the offense was, that's when you need Sean kicking, and he for sure showed up. Certainly that day. Yeah, Elijah Surratt only played 6 snaps, and Jacoby Lane played 19. But again, I just think that it was really the offensive line that didn't give any quarterback really the chance to kind of like plant their feet and get the ball going, as well as again the run game. This is purely evident of like two major components of any offense in the NFL. If you don't have a run game, and if your offensive line can't block, this is exactly what you're going to look like. You can't get anything going. Defenses can just stack the box and take away your run game, and then you're playing man coverage in secondary, and it just you take away a lot of elements of an offense if those two aspects of the offense are gone. So we saw
And
exactly.
it's concerning
Yeah.
with, second, third stringers. So I don't want to go
Yeah.
up against.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah, and those are two things that follow you, right? And I know it's barely August, and what I'm saying applies to January and hopefully what they play February. But the run game and offensive line, whether you're home, whether you're away in the playoffs, that's what carries, right? So I know we're talking about, like you said, second and third stringers, but yeah, right now it's not really something you look at and you're encouraged by, right? So hopefully that gets tightened up soon. And but the good thing is that it's barely August, so they certainly have time to kind of adjust, and things kind of go their favor in that way.
I'm really interested to see kind of what they do with Joe, if he's going to remain on the roster as a third string, the practice squad guy, or if somebody may want to come up and take him away, because he's been played really well in this preseason, and there's people that need backup quarterbacks for sure. The Dolphins are one of them. But that being said, I'm really interested to see what happens with him, because like I said, he's played very, very well. And obviously Huntley is always going to be the backup quarterback, whether or not like he's not played as well in preseason. But again, like he's been able not to like overturn the ball and stuff. Like Saturday's game was just a really weird one in the sense of like he was on the run most of it, and like he couldn't really get things going. So, but that being said, I wouldn't imagine that the Ravens are not going to keep Joe on the roster and have him be that practice squad or the third emergency quarterback option. I mean, so really interested to see where that one goes. But there's still, some things that need to be worked out. We have one more game, and who's wide receiver 3? My belief was, hey, Lane's running away with this thing, but he may. I don't know why we didn't bring this up, but I'll bring it up right now because it just popped in my head. He may very well be wide receiver 2 come week 1, because Rashod Bateman was arrested for an incident that occurred in June. A domestic violence incident, alleged domestic violence incident that may very well lead to a suspension. If that is the case, if the NFL does suspend him for 1 or 2 games, whatever the case may be, this would firmly put the rookies in a better position in terms of the depth chart for those weeks. I thought, again, my belief was that Lane was going to be running away with wide receiver 3. Saturday's performance wasn't that great, but that's kind of not his fault. It's more so like an overall underwhelming offensive performance, if you will. But that being said, he may be pushed into wide receiver 2 because the Ravens don't really have any other options in terms of the guys that are coming up. So prediction time right now, obviously it's going to be Zay Flowers. It might be Zay Flowers. It might be Devontae Walker and then Jacoby Lane in one, or they might swap the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 spots, in my opinion. Obviously Surratt's still there, but I just think those two guys, Tez because of his experience already within the Ravens organization, and then Jacoby Lane because Jacoby Lane's been lining it up minus Saturday. So
I'd also like to see Wester get more of a shot, to be honest, in
I agree.
those, regular season games. Like,
I agree.
he's not really had the chance to shine in that aspect. Like, he's done a lot of returns and stuff like that. So I would like to see if they are going to go about having a competition throughout the season, it would be nice to see him get in with that. But yeah, really sad about Rashod Bateman. He's a guy that we've spoken about a lot over the last few weeks about his future with the Ravens. And obviously, this is a horrible thing to allegedly have happened. And who knows where that's going to go. But yeah, I mean, Jacoby, I think that's exactly why what Buddy was saying about, him not being out there that much. He's going to need to be out there a lot during the regular season. So I think, that's just preserving him and his talent. But yeah, who's coming up behind them? Surratt, Wester, Tez, like there's plenty of room for them to grow. And what a great, I think this is probably some of the best weapons that Lamar Jackson has had throughout his career. So he can definitely take advantage of them and see who he's got the best chemistry with over the next few weeks.
And that's for sure, too, including those tight ends that we were talking about and the tight end room in general.
Yep.
Like, now the tight end room looks to be pretty strong because both Cuevas and Himner have shown their abilities to be blockers as well. So I think, like you just said, he has some really good weapons at his disposal. Obviously, Bateman not being there is... It sucks for multiple reasons, especially as we've mentioned here on this pod multiple times over. He's not in a contract year, but you're kind of in a contract year in the sense of like you need things to go the right way. Otherwise, these up and comers are going to push you right out. So yeah.
Yeah, the Bateman thing's too early to tell, right? I mean, we're gonna have to monitor that, see where things go, but. Yeah, I mean Lamar has a ton of weapons, and I think more importantly, I think for the most part they're all young. The only one that's 30 and over, and he's right at 30, is Mark Andrews. That's about it, right? All of them are young, all of them are fresh, all of them are most of them are inexperienced, but we know that they're talented, and we know that they play like a Raven. Right, and that's the most important thing. If you play like a Raven and you come in and you do your job, then after that, things are going to be a lot smoother. Things are going to flow easier. So yeah, if Bateman is out, if he is, I don't have a problem slotting Lane in the second position. I think that he will be more than capable of doing so. Who follows after that, right? I mean, or Walker, right? He's kind of been under the radar a bit, but this 2026 season is the time for him to kind of show up and show out. And if he could be a player or a wide receiver that could be counted on this offense, that's really the question. And he will certainly have a chance to shine if Bateman were to miss or whatever the case happens there. So depth here in terms of the pass catchers, I'm not really too worried about it. It's really just the offensive line and whether Lamar Jackson could be protected or not. Because if he's not, then we're gonna start to have some serious questions about his future in Baltimore, really. But that's like way down the road. Right now, it's more so. Right now, the offense has potential to do something, led by Declan Doyle. Right, we know what kind of coaching tree he comes out of under the Ben Johnson one, and so far it's proven to be really good. We'll see if that can translate with Lamar Jackson. And we know the other two times that Lamar Jackson has had new offensive coordinators, we know what's gone on to happen. So we'll see if he still has that magic heading into 2026.
Yeah, well, that's the thing exactly, isn't it? Really, is he has all these weapons, but do the offensive line want to hold up their end of the bargain to be able to show off what they've got out there? I just really hope that they can. I'm putting the faith out there that they'll get it together, but it is just the glaring issue, and it is such a big issue that is Derek Henry going to get the protection he needs to get going? Is Lamar going to get the protection he needs to take advantage of his receivers? I guess time's only really going to tell on that one.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some things to figure out. Center, especially one you got to see what the wide receivers can do, and really just kind of like hammer in those final details with this last preseason game. I know that they're doing a joint practice tomorrow, and then they're preparing for the game on Friday. And that'll be it for the Ravens preseason matchups, and we'll see who they cut on Sunday. It'll be a really big, important day for all 32 teams, because then you have to start looking at who may be going to another team, and maybe the Ravens are going to have to upgrade their offensive line in a major way. Don't know, but a lot to figure out. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back next week to recap the third and final preseason game, and also to talk about roster cuts, because this we'll be recording probably a day or two after that happens on Sunday. So a lot to talk about next week. Thank you guys so much for listening again. If you like what you hear, share this YouTube video, like it, subscribe, do all the things. Go create an account at the official Roundtable Ravens site, which is going to be in the description of this video. We really appreciate it, but we will be back next week.